Okay, so we have here today my 2014 SL550 R231, and it developed a leak in the windshield wiper tank. So I've kind of already done a lot of troubleshooting. I've actually had it apart, but I thought I'd go ahead and start this video. So you're going to need to tackle this job if you want to, some of these plastic tools for removing these little plastic clips and so forth. Got these at Harbor Freight, so you're going to need that. You need to jack the car up, take the wheel off, and take the wheel inner liner out, partially anyway. And I went ahead and purchased this part here from actually on Amazon Prime, but I think it was like 20 bucks. So hopefully that's going to work. It's also got the little grommet in there that plugs into the tank, and then the pump actually plugs into it, and the feed lines for each driver's side and passenger side washer plug in respectively there. So we'll go ahead and stop here for a minute, and we'll get the thing jacked up and go from there. Okay, we got the wheel off and we've got the inner liner out. This part of it, there's apparently two pieces. One on the front side and one on the back side. It's split pretty much right in the right in half here. So a little fiddly. There's several fasteners you have to remove. Here is what I took off. Some are metal, like long sheet metal fasteners along the bottom. Some plastic nuts and these little push-on fasteners here that you use those to take it out. Here's the inner liner when it comes out. You can see it's got up here above the the shock, this fastener here. These are those plastic nuts that go on there, so be careful you don't over tighten them. There's one there, another one there, and another one there, then a couple of push-ons here and here, and then along underneath the car, you'll have to crawl around underneath it. You can see the fastener locations for the screw metal ones. So there those are. So you get that out, and you have to wrestle with it a bit, but no big deal. So what I chose to do was to replace the pump. Pump's located right behind that. When you take the liner off, it'll reveal all that. You can pop some of these hoses out of the way. Make sure you put them back though. And here's the factory pump. Mine was leaking right under here, dripping down, and there was a big puddle on the floor every day. So I will get that out. Hopefully the replacement pump will fit back in there correctly. Another tidbit, so these little fasteners I showed you earlier, they have this plunger on the top. So silly me, I didn't realize how they worked. The plunger allows, if the plunger is pulled out, it allows the lower part that actually holds everything to squeeze in. Once you insert that in the hole, then you drive the plunger all the way down, and that locks it in place. But moi didn't know that, so I kept pulling on these things and pulling on these things and managed to get them out. Fortunately, I didn't hurt anything, and then I discovered that. So before you take these out, pull this little plunger out first. Now it may come all the way out. Some of them do, some of them didn't. But in any event, once you pull that plunger out, then put your tool like this, up under this collar, and then you can work that out much easier. So don't do like me. Pull this plunger off first, and then reverse the procedure when you put the inner liner back in. Okay, we're going to take the pump out now. This thing just clips in here on the tank. So kind of work it toward you and then up. And what happens is this stinger, pickup, whatever, fits down into this grommet. The grommet has an integral filter and everything as well. So I'm going to leave that in there for now. But we'll have to pop out the connector here. So you have to pull that up, it'll click a little bit, and then you can disconnect the electrical. And then to take these hoses off, I have to push up on these clips here a little bit and get them working. You see them starting to slide upward till they snap, and you can take that off. Same thing over here, same process. Careful you don't spread them out too much, they'll break. And pop those off, and there you have it. And apparently mine is leaking somewhere around here, not sure, at least that's what I believe. So we'll put the new one in and just reverse the process and pop it back in there. Okay, we're going to work out the old grommet here. Pop it out of there. I also read that these grommets over time get loose or lose their tension. So I'm a little hesitant because this one has an integral filter that's factory and the one that replaces it does not. So I'm going to go ahead and go for it. See what happens here. I'll put the new one in. Make sure it's seated well. And appears to be. And the replacement pump reverse, like I said, here. Push them on, push it down, clicks, push it on till it's seated, push it down till it clicks, make sure it's clicked in there okay. That one does not appear to be clicked in all the way. All right, a little pull test. Now these things will rotate, so hopefully that's not the factory one's also rotated. We'll get a little water here to make this go on there a little easier. But it's a little hard to get that started into the grommet and into this tank, but get that in there. There it is. Yeah, that's a little harder than I thought it was going to be. Fits down in there all the way. Make sure it's bottoms out, and it does. And got our electrical on there. Looks like I'm gonna have to build that up a little bit. The body of this is not as large. Well, it has a little foam piece that wraps around it that this one does not have. So I'm going to test this first to make sure it doesn't leak. Still doesn't, if I fix the leak, and then we'll do something to make it tight there. So to make up the difference in the diameter, I wrapped some sticky foam tape around the body of the new pump. This material is something you can get at a hobby store. pretty thin, so I used 2 layers. The original pump had a similar kind of wrapping around it, foam rubber. Just 1 layer, but slight differences in the pump. This is the stuff I use. It has an adhesive on the back. You can see it's fairly thin. I would think that's around 1/16, 1/8 of an inch maybe, I don't know. Anyway, something, whether it needs it or not, I went ahead and did that. So if you use this same part number, you will no doubt need to use a similar approach, something to kind of give it some something to hold on to. Although it's pretty tight when that stinger, the pickup stinger, slips down to through the grommet. It's pretty tight, so you want it to be watertight. But anyway, just for your understanding. Okay, so we got the fender liner, inner fender liner back installed. See, went back in very easily once. Again, once I figured out the trick on those little plastic fasteners. I do believe that I'm following in the footsteps of a Mercedes shop. I took this thing in because the driver's side windshield washer didn't seem to be getting any water. And I think they were in here doing stuff. They said they fixed it. Well, actually they said couldn't find the problem. But I noticed I've got 3 fasteners missing. And this part right here was actually installed backwards. This piece was behind here. This is the fixed piece. It has the large hole to let this pass through, or sorry, it has the small hole to latch this, and this has the large hole to let it pass through, and it was installed the wrong way. I'm definitely in here after somebody else, so kind of sad that the service department at for such an expensive car could you know, not follow procedures, whatever. Anyway, it looks like the new pump, it certainly works and does not appear to leak. So this is a fairly easy job. Don't let it intimidate you. I mean, the hardest part is jacking the car up and getting the wheel off, I think. But if you feel brave, and maybe you can use this video to help you through some of the spots that I found that kind of bit me. But once you understand how these little fasteners work, it is a breeze. You do have to crawl around on your to get under the car to get 3 fasteners under here. Those are the 3 metal ones, one of which again is missing, and then one in the corner underneath here is missing. So I'll go get some replacements at the hobby, or not hobby store, but the auto store later. But for now, I think we're good to go. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helps out.